All right, welcome back to the 290 Mo podcast. This is part two of what do you wish your parents would have told you as a child that you can use now as an adult. So, for a quick summary of the last episode, if you could, Kyra B, introduce yourself and give a quick summary, if you could, of your views of the topic.
Yes, greetings. My name is Kyra B. I'm the owner and founder of Green Light Go and the food reviewer of the Billionaire Vegan. I specialize in vegan products and services. And my view on the topic briefly that I wish I learned being raised is not being in scarcity, which is oh turn the lights off, money don't grow on trees, also in consciousness and feminine being feminine in tune with my body and being in tune with what being a woman is and things of that sort, and just knowing the difference that a woman is not a man and a man is not a woman.
And briefly, just the steps you took, you know what I'm saying, and the steps you're taking to find resolutions to these things.
So mentors is one, self-help book. So mentors, reaching out to other women, learning how to be feminine, listening to podcasts, and looking for my heroes as far as like when it comes to financial freedom and like reading books like Think and Grow Rich, 4 Hour Work Week, Financial Inspiration 444. So learning just, networking to net worth and, birds of a feather flock together. So keeping the company that I desire to keep.
Okay, okay, that's definitely dope. And if you didn't catch the last episode or the part one of this topic, I suggest you go back and check that out. Bookmark this, come back, check that out, and then catch this later at a later time. So with that being said, I'd just like to thank you again for coming on the podcast. And I'll go ahead and break down my views on the subject. So, like I
Yeah.
said at the beginning of part one, I had told you that ever since you set shot that topic to me, it's stuck in my brain because I felt a personal connection to the topic. Because now that I'm a father and now that I have children, I, you know what I'm saying, my job is to make sure their transition from childhood to adulthood is as smooth as possible. So I'm always doing research and using my own, you know what I'm saying, trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying, to make sure they don't go through the same things that I went through. So with that being said, my big thing, and I feel like it's a big thing in the black community, and I don't understand why it's so hard, but my daughter, when she graduate high school, her credit, you know what I'm saying, is gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't. And my homie telling me, and this is like the conversation I say, he like they didn't know no better. I'm like, they did because they had credit cards. You know what I'm saying? They knew bad. You couldn't do nothing with bad credit, and you couldn't do nothing with good credit. They knew it was no positives. See, it didn't happen to me personally, but they knew it was no positives to putting the light bill into your kid's name or putting a cable bill in your kid's name. So I just feel like our parents, well, the majority of millennial parents dropped the ball as far as financial literacy and financial education goes, as far as credit and as far as, you know what I'm saying, just real information you need to leave to be an adult. You know what I'm saying? They taught us a lot of Christopher Columbus and George Washington in high school.
Yeah.
So if you weren't getting that information at home, where you was getting it from? so
Right.
so that was something I felt like. And then like now in this simple solutions to like, you don't need to get your kid a credit card. You know what I'm saying? I had a credit repair on the podcast, and he was just saying little things like, I could put my kids as an authorized user on a secure credit card that I know I'm going, you know what I'm saying, take care of what. And that's just building their credit, and they don't have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have to have the card. So with that being said, tell me what's your thought on my input on the situation, and is that something that you can relate to?
So why you feel like that our generation of parent, because it seems like it's a our generation thing. Why you feel like they were that ignorant? Because the curse now being broken with us, of course.
Because I feel like our parent generation, the generation before our parents was like the hard working, you know what I'm saying, mom, dad, wife, you know what I'm saying, Cosby home family, you know what I'm saying. It's like the cocaine and the crack era and whatever else you want to say what it was destroyed that, you know what I'm saying. And when it became, when our parents was coming up, you know what I'm saying, what was important to them was what it seemed like, you know what I'm saying, was just, you know, it was like the, I don't want to say like the feminist era, but the black man was absent. So it was like the black woman was left in responsibility of everything, you know what I'm saying. So they was messing up their credit, you know what I'm saying, because they had to take care of a whole household by themselves, you know what I'm saying. They was maxing out credit cards for Christmas because you got to get Christmas toys for 3 and 4 kids, you know what I'm saying, and daddy ain't home. And then they were still able to survive because of government assistance, you know what I'm saying. So as yeah, you know what I'm saying, you can get bad credit back then, but you were still able to get your link card. And I'm not saying this situation applies to everybody, but you were still able to get, you know what I'm saying, further assistance as far as, you know what I'm saying, being able to live. But it's like now credit is in some places is more important than money. So, with that being said, could you share how you gained your financial literacy? Is something like credit and income tax something that you were educated on in the home, or was that something that took place in school or after school?
So what hit me is that, as I mentioned, I'm in the process of breaking the broke mentality,
Mm-hmm.
because it's time where I still feel scarcity, and getting that out of my head and realizing that my thoughts dominate my reality. And the thing, so I started learning about money like in 2017, 18, but I still had the broke mentality. Like I at that point I knew how to accumulate money as far as in abundance, but I had no education in financial literacy and investing. And that's where, a lot, like they say, like rappers and singers and basketball players, they get rich but they go broke because they have no financial literacy. So when you're giving someone with a broke mentality money, they're gonna go broke.
Mm-hmm.
So I really started like learning. So once I like, went broke, I wasn't as wealthy anymore. I was like, oh no, not this lifestyle, not gonna cut it. But then that's when I started looking into financial literacy. Like, now how do I take the money and make it work for me instead of working for my money? And just coming across all the, what you seek is seeking you. So starting to, as I mentioned, network. And when you end up surrounding yourself around people with money, and so they start like planting seeds in you that you don't know that they're planting. And so you start reaching out for additional help when they're not around anymore, because when the money's gone, they're gone. They're not finna surround themselves around nobody broke. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So just reading books, as I mentioned, like Rich Dad and Poor Dad is a really good book, and it teaches you like how to evaluate your income sheet and your balance sheet, like, and investing, in assets and not liabilities. And like a car, that's a liability. Unless you're renting it out, then that's an asset. You know what I'm saying? So something that you're letting your money work for you, and investing like stocks and stuff like that. So just books and networking in groups, and researching, how to grow my enterprise and things of that sort. So yeah, just learning. You pay to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So investing in classes that teach me, as I mentioned, I'm grateful for my mentor. Shout out to my mentor. Shout out Sharice Arrington. I gotta shout her out. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's been helping me on that path as well.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this from this angle. Okay. So some people will say that a couple of things that you mentioned, just one of them, like the car, you know what I'm saying? Some of them think people will say that these are things that, even if the car, the financial literacy, these are things that's already supposed to be established before you leave home. You know what I'm saying? Just in everybody family don't have a business, but just, you know what I'm saying, the financial literacy, you know what I'm saying, your parents you know what I'm saying, give you a car, you know what I'm saying, so you're able to get from point A to point B. So with that being said, once you gain this financial literacy, once you've gained all this knowledge, is there, and I'm pretty sure I've asked you this question in some shape or form already, but is it any not bad will, no bad feelings, but is it any like um any like wondering in your brain, like why didn't your parents, even just like the financial literacy or the simple stuff, like my friend said, they didn't know any better about the credit cards, but they knew they about the income taxes, you know what I'm saying, they knew about, you know what I'm saying, putting your rent money up, you know what I'm saying, when you get your rent money, put it up, and then, you know what I'm saying, work like that. Why do you think that that's not something that was really preached to us, you know what I'm saying, as we became adults? Like I remember like getting my first apartment. It was like we had the birds and the bees talk, but we didn't have the, you know what I'm saying, this how you talk to the landlord, this how you fill out a money order. We ain't had that talk, you know what I'm saying? So do you hold that against your parents in any way? And do you feel like they owe us in any way?
Well, I'm grateful for life, and I believe that you know that.
Like anytime we ask for $20, they should up it because you the reason
So a lot of it has to do with being indoctrinated, and we're indoctrinated from the schools, and we're indoctrinated from our jobs, because as I mentioned in the last episode, it comes from looking for validation outside of ourselves from others, because they're indoctrinated. So my case specifically is my parent is indoctrinated, like in regards to religion, in regards to like teaching, like putting that on me, like not having desires, and which now is resonating with me. Like, why wouldn't I have a desire? It's natural to desire things. It's natural
Mhm,
to desire health. It's natural to desire to be fit. It's natural to desire wealth. Like, it leads to financial freedom. So why wouldn't I? Why, the root of all evil is money? Why are you teaching me that? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of it has to do with ignorance and like the slavery mentality, you know what I'm
mhm.
saying? And being in the DNA. And I don't fault them for it. I do want to know why though. Why not break that? So you didn't see what you're doing. You ain't see you being selfish. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to that. Like I don't know how they don't see that part. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it was just, I think it was just so much going on in that time, you know what I'm saying? A lot, they lost a lot of their men to a lot of
It's
tragedies.
the
I
same thing
think
going on.
they spent, right, us exactly. And that's why that could be a whole nother podcast, you know what I'm saying? But I think they just spent, they loved us, you know what I'm saying? We had a lot of spoiled kids, you know what I'm saying? We was the starter outfits in the Jordan, you know what I'm saying, era, you know what I'm saying? So
Liabilities,
yeah.
not assets.
But
I
I
would rather
yeah,
have
that's
the
a
stock. You
yeah,
know what
that's
I'm
what
saying?
and that's what I but that's why I feel like the time was wasted, you know what I'm saying? Instead of, you know what I'm saying, teaching us, they was buying us, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, for validation for themselves. It was
and
selfish. Very
for
selfish.
themselves and for others, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was a lot of them women was single parents, so you sending your kids to school, you know what I'm saying? I remember my OG, you know what I'm saying, we couldn't go to school any old type of way because we don't want them people, you know what I'm saying, not being, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Man.
So it's
But
it's 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 all it's a ton of contributing factors, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like these are in some cases, in some families, generational curses. It's something that I'm already working on breaking in my family, but in a lot of households, and I see, and I think it's a question you asked me. I'm not sure if we were on air or off air. You like, do I have any time? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, but I know a lot of people who
yeah,
got unlimited time. You know what I'm saying? So, um, with
I'm
that
here to
being
be.
said, that's just, I don't hold, you know what I'm saying, no ill will toward my parents or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Because my parents are highly intelligent individuals, you know what I'm saying? And they did an amazing job. They did an amazing job raising me. It's just a few little things, you know what I'm saying, that I just feel like, it would have made things a lot more easier, you know what I'm saying, if I could have just went to, You know what I'm saying? If I wouldn't have had to get a hoopty for my first car because, you know what I'm saying, I got an average credit score
Dang.
when I could have been straight, you know what I'm saying? So
So why do you feel like why do you how did you learn that all of this was going on in the real world? Like how did you learn like, oh, it's financial literacy out there? You know what I'm saying? Like
because I hate to depend, you know what I'm saying? So that's I naturally, you know what I'm saying, do my own research and see where the money comes from. My journey started in residual cash. You know, it's like you kind of mentioned making your money make money. I started doing research on trying to make a dollar turn into two without doing too much. So
yeah.
um and then that's, you know what I'm saying, that's when, you know, invisible money credit comes up, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. But me, that's something still I'm still on my financial literacy journey. My discipline sucks. So with that being said, it's kind of hard to manage money if your discipline sucks, but you know, I maintain.
No, your discipline don't suck because you're learning. You know, you didn't know at first how to manage money. This is all a new process for you. So it's about breaking the broke mentality. It's a mentality, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's why I said I definitely hear you, and I'm getting better at that just from my last couple weeks. I've been sparing no expense, you know what I'm saying, toward
yeah,
290 Mo podcast and everything I got going on. So
yeah.
I
That's
think I think all of these things are learning lessons that we all should pass on, not just to our kids, but to our friends and family, you know what I'm saying? Just like the two traits that you mentioned, those are awesome traits that you could pass on to a friend and continue to pass on to your mother, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully
yeah.
one day she have an epiphany and then, you know, everything
And
is
no, I definitely my goal is to reach 2,200 children. I call it the rising child. You know, take the A out from raising to
how do you
rising.
intend on doing that? Music?
It funded, of course, just like, as far as like nonprofit but not nonprofit, you know what I'm saying? Yet, not to that point, but making sure that in my enterprise that a proceeds go to rising a child or rising children because and teaching them how to make decisions and not school because it's still going on today where kids don't they're not being taught financial literacy at all or just anything that has to do with
Is
real life.
right,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So like
Um,
people and knowing they say stay away from strangers, but why am I staying away from strangers? What
I
kind of
mean,
strangers am I staying away from?
I
You know what I'm saying?
mean, you go to school with strangers though.
Make it make sense.
I
That's what I'm
mean,
saying.
you know,
Well,
I mean,
then
I'm we getting a little bit off topic, but I personally feel like school is you go to school to learn how to socialize, read, and count money. Unless you're gonna be a scientist or a brain surgeon, the rest of that stuff really you really don't need it. Like the George Washington and all that stuff is not even accurate. So
yeah, yeah, you need school. That's what I'm saying. A
yeah, you
separate
need
school from
school.
what they got going
Right,
on.
yeah. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's
yeah,
just so much bullshit being taught in there, you know what I'm saying? Not just from the history, it's bullshit science being taught in there. Like just certain aspects of the curriculum that's really time wasting. Like it could be switched out with, you know what I'm saying, income tax for the
yeah.
seniors or some shit like
Decision
that.
making
You
classes.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Uh
Yeah.
that could be a whole nother podcast. I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying. You sent me another list of topics today, so I don't know. I see you got your mic and your boom arm. We probably need to discuss. I don't know if you got your podcast up and running, but if you don't, we need to just go ahead do this once a week and boom, have that on wax, get it rolling. So then when you get your show rolling, you can go ahead give me 10% equity, and then we can
And
have you on the
that's that
solo.
financial literacy coming in.
That's a residual cash coming in.
So what did you look making money in your sleep? No, for real. And we all are one. You know what I'm saying? Like when we are nothing together, we are everything. So what did you come across specifically what article or what site were you on that you came across specifically to put out there for the people? Because as you mentioned, we discussed before off air that you don't have time to read books.
Mhm.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like some people read books, some people like for the community out there that's not in tune with reading books, what can they look into to like, you know, draw that epiphany for financial literacy?
For financial literacy, well, man, it was all personal, you know what I'm saying, with me, you know what I'm saying, having and not wanting to have, and not making sure that I have, you know what I'm saying, a couple dollars in a shoebox for in case my kids need anything at any moment, you know what I'm saying. But other than that, a good source, a great source is the Credit Hero. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on my page on one of my previous interviews, but he's a credit hero. His name is Ronnie, and he was the dude. He just gave me like a whole bunch of quick advice to start raising your credit tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Just like adding on to somebody, your grandmother who pays her bills on time all the time, just getting her to add you on as an authorized user on her credit card. You don't even need a card, you know what I'm saying? You're just an authorized user, and you benefit the good things from her credit, from her paying her credit card, you know what I'm saying, having good credit, stuff like that, stuff that shouldn't be an issue, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be an issue for you know what I'm saying, OG to put you as an authorized user on her card, you know what I'm saying, because it's beneficial, you know what I'm saying? It's stuff like
Yeah.
it sounds, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm saying something that should be common sense, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, but it's not.
it just skipped the whole generation. It seemed like, I don't know what they were doing to the generation previously, but I just feel like
Drugs,
they
cocaine, crack.
they definitely should have passed that on.
So when we reroute in regards to the next topic, I'm going to talk to someone as far as in that generation, like why,
That'll be
and then I'm gonna
good.
let you know that answer.
That'll be good. You know what? I want to ask why too. I don't want to offend nobody, so I'm gonna have to ask somebody who's not my parents.
And
Ah!
yeah, I told you I asked my mom and she went silent. I was like, what you got to say now? Because
Oh,
there's times that you know, our culture, our community, like we hit licks. You know what I'm saying? As
yeah.
far, yeah, but what the money been invested into? You know what I'm
But
saying?
I'm just saying, just you know what I'm saying. Like if I would have had good credit, you know what I'm saying. Like the one thing that's hurting my credit now is my first hoopty. If I would have
And
had good credit, I wouldn't have had a hoopty. So that mean I would have had none of my credit right now. You know what I'm saying?
but the
So
fact that you had to learn that, maybe that's why you learned it. You know?
I learned. I feel like I learned that, so I can experience that. So now that I have a son that looks just like me, when
And
he get ready to take his $500 up to the first car lot he see, come here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you got good credit. You've been an authorized car holder on this car, on this $300 credit card that I've been paying for the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Stuff
yeah,
like that. You
and
know?
I wanted to bring something up real quick as far as like when you said that you said the in regards to putting the lights in their child name. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Uh-huh.
knew that wasn't right. And
Mm-hmm.
the crazy part is when you feel like you're doing something bad, you feel the low vibration. Like they felt the low bad vibe when they was putting lights. Like my sister literally like had to pay off $10,000 worth of all of that stuff that people, her aunties and grandmas was putting in her name, and she didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
She found out about all that stuff when she got older, and she ended up having to use somebody else's name to get something because she couldn't get something because they told her she got a $600 light bill, and she's like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
You know.
That's why, like, I don't buy that they didn't know, because they knew that. So you knew had to know the opposite. So it's like I don't like I told my man, I'm gonna try to get him on the show and see if he can elaborate. But
I'm gonna keep
uh
you posted.
oh yeah, so like I said, so I want to thank you for coming on to the show. We're
Yeah.
gonna do some more networking behind the scenes because the topics are fire. So if you could let the people know what you about, where they can find you, where they can find your services.
Yes. So Kyra B, I'm the owner and founder of Green Light Go. I specialize in vegan comfort dishes. You know, you want the that flavor without what I'm saying, feeling all how you be feeling. So you can find me on Instagram at Greenlight Go underscore, Facebook Greenlight Go 3, everything Greenlight Go, YouTube Greenlight Go, website greenlightgo.org, or some people know it as Greenlight Kitchen, so that URL still exists. So you can type in greenlightkitchen.com, light with a Y. I'm a vegan food reviewer, so the billionaire vegan, content releasing soon. I'll let y'all know where y'all can go in the city, you know what I'm saying? Of course, when Greenlight Go is not available for y'all at the moment, So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
thank you so much.
All right. See you soon. Thank you.
All right, peace, peace.
All right.